Spanish democracy. Young voices in the European democracies. First Republic. The First Spanish Republic was the political regime that existed in Spain since its proclamation by the Cortes on February the 11th, 1873 until December the 29th, 1874. Second Republic. The Second Spanish Republic was the democratic political regime that existed in Spain between April the 14th, 1931, the date of the proclamation of the Republic, replacing the monarchy of Alfonso XIII, and April the 1st, 1939, date of end of the Spanish Civil War, which led to the dictatorship of General Francisco Franco Behamed. Civil War. The Spanish Civil War was a social, political and military conflict, which later would also impact on economic, and conflict that erupted in Spain after the partial failure of the coup on 17 and the 18th of July 1936 carried out by some army against the government of the Second Spanish Republic. Civil War. The war had many facets. It includes class struggle, religious war, confrontation of opposing nationalism, dictatorship and military struggle between republic and democracy, between revolution and counter-revolution, between fascism and communism. The Republican side was composed around the democratically elected government of Spain. The rebellious side, who called himself the National Side, was organized around part of the military high command, initially institutionalized in the National Defense Council, replaced by the appointment of Generalissimo Francisco Franco as head of government and state. End of the dictatorship. The end of the dictatorship. The conquest of democracy in Spain, November 1975, June 1977. In the turbulent history of the 20th century Spanish, two brief spells that have received special attention from historians: civil war and the transformation of the Franco regime, the dictator's death in a homologous democracy with European environment, that everyone knows a term that made his fortune, the transition. After the dictatorship, the Second Franco, 1959 to 1975, also called Developmental Franco, was the second major phase of the Franco dictatorship, during which there was a dramatic economic growth. Great transformation office, but was not accompanied by political changes. Spanish transition. The Spanish transition is the historical period during which they carried out the process by which Spain left behind the dictatorial regime of General Francisco Franco and happened to be governed by a constitution which enshrined a social and democratic state of law. Democratic transition is the first stage of the history of Spain. Spanish transition. King confirmed in his position as Prime Minister of the Franco regime, Carlos Arias Navarro. Soon, however, the difficulty of carrying out political reforms under his government would manifest, producing a widening gap between one Carlos Arias Navarro and I. Finally, the king demanded the resignation on July the 1st, 1976, and Arias Navarro was introduced. He was replaced by Adolfo Ceres, who is responsible to initiate discussions with top leaders of different political parties, more or less legal or tolerated, and social democratic opposition forces, in order to establish a democratic regime in Spain. Spanish democracy. Democracy is a form of government in which all eligible citizens are meant to participate equally. Democracy. Democracy is a form of social organization that attaches to the ownership of the whole society. Strictly speaking, democracy is a form of state organization in which collective decisions are taken by the people by direct or indirect mechanisms of participation that giving legitimacy to their representatives. In a broad sense, democracy is a form of social interaction in which members are free and equal, and social relationships are established pursuant to contractual arrangements. This is our PowerPoint about the history of our democracy. We hope that you liked it.